If content planning feels like a chore, if you're constantly posting last minute, low effort content because you had to, or you sit in front of the blank screen and think to yourself, what the hell do I even say today? Then this video is for you, because I'm going to reveal my workflow. I'm going to tell you exactly my strategy of what I'm doing to create content. So I'm going to show you exactly how I plan an entire month of content in about an hour. No theory, no fluff, just what actually is working. As you know, I am a business owner, a solopreneur, but I also have a full-time job as a CMO. So for me, having a system in place that works is crucial. Number one, audience first strategy. Most people start planning content by asking, what should I post? I don't ask myself that question. I ask, what does my audience want to see right now? And this is the biggest difference between content that performs and content that flops. Here's what I look for before I plan a single idea. What caused spikes in engagement last month? So I'm going to review my content. I'm looking at saves, shares, replies, direct messages, or even likes. Analyzing what people ask me in my direct messages or under my comments. Your audience is basically handing you content ideas for free. I'm also analyzing what videos or video blew up in my niche recently. I'm not trying to copy anyone's work, but I want to understand patterns. I'm also looking at which topics aren't trending anymore, because the last thing you want to do is posting outdated content. Because if you're posting outdated content, that's the fastest way for you to become invisible. I'm also thinking about what are my audience's current problems, not mine. And this is important because your content needs to focus on your audience. It needs to focus on their problem and not showcasing how many awards you won recently. For example, last month I noticed that my direct messages were filled with questions down the lines of how do I start posting consistently, what is the best AI tools for beginners or solopreneurs, how do I get started on my content calendar without really getting overwhelmed. And bam, that tells me exactly what people are currently struggling with and what do they looking for in my content, and that really helps me to create my content calendar. Everyone talks about content pillars, but most of them are using them completely wrong. Your content buckets, or I call them content pillars, they should not be random categories like motivation, lifestyle, personal, and tips. Content buckets should reflect your brand ecosystem, the topics you want authority in, and the topics your audience wants to see from you. So my content buckets are Facebook ads, AI tools, content marketing, and personal branding. What I do, I rotate my buckets strategically. So I'm not going to talk about AI videos months over months. I talk about an AI tool, then my next video is about a Facebook ad. So I'm trying to rotate my content because I want to stay versatile and activate different segments of my audience. This positions me as a multi-dimensional expert, not just a one lane type of content creator. I'm also going to choose my content buckets based on long-term positioning. I'm not going to change my content bucket because there's a trend. I'm treating my content buckets as my content lanes, because this will help me to never run out of ideas, because there are so many different ideas within each lane. Plan by platform, not by day. This is what I see as a common pitfall with creators. They create their content based on Monday, I post a tip, on Tuesday a carousel, and on Friday I maybe use a trending audio. But a platform behavior doesn't care about your calendar. Instead, you need to think like a strategist. For example, if you use the platform LinkedIn, you need to tell yourself, per week, I post one reel, and then based on that reel, I create 2 static images that support that reel. On Instagram, I post 3 reels a week, focusing on educational content, storytelling, and some personal stories. Then I'll also throw in 1 to 2 static posts that enhance my videos. So you just recap what you talked about in your videos. On YouTube Shorts, you can say I post up to 4 pieces a day, and all of these 4 YouTube Short pieces are coming from long form content that I posted, I just repurpose them. And if you also have TikTok in the mix, you can really focus on storytelling, on personal branding, uploading personal content, and also jumping on trends early on. This is what allows you to show up across 4 to 5 different platforms without creating 4 to 5 times the content. How you use AI like a teammate. I don't just use ChatGPT. I created a custom GPT in ChatGPT, which I taught everything that system needs to know about my business so it can come up with really valuable ideas. So I taught the system my tone, my strengths, my audience's pain points, what content flopped, what content went viral, what services I offer, the platforms that I want to post on, my brand voice. Everything that I need is important, so we don't waste time and start from scratch every single time I talk to the system. So when I sit down to plan content, my conversation with ChatGPT looks something like this. Here's my main focus for the month. Here's what performed the last month. Give me 20 video ideas for Instagram Reels using my buckets. Which topic should I avoid based on my performance? Turn this idea into 3 hook variations and 3 different angles. This is why I can generate 30 to 40 different ideas within minutes and not hours. But here's some actual prompts that you can use next time you talk to an AI tool. Based on my content bucket, generate 20 content ideas using current trends in my niche. Or you can say, here are my past 10 high-performing posts. Which patterns do you see? Create 10 high retention hooks using my tone, and then you would insert your tone. My tone is direct, witty, and educational. Turn this long form idea into 7 short form versions. Create an editorial calendar. I'm using a spreadsheet on Excel, and this spreadsheet is more than just a calendar, it's my command center. So I have everything on one document. I have different columns in my Excel document that tell me exactly my content buckets, my content formats, so static, real, long form content, shorts on TikTok. I write down my hooks, I write down my script. I have a section where it says filmed, edited, ready for repurposing, and scheduled, which I fill out, and any notes about performance, collaborations, or any product mentions. Using an editorial calendar that encompasses all these elements is important because it makes filming days or content creation days so much easier. It prevents idea loss. It keeps me moving through the pipeline. It shows me what do I need to do, and it also shows me what I have accomplished so far. So I'm not relying on 20 different tabs and 5 different apps. I'm relying on one clean system that works. So you don't need to use an Excel document. If you use Notion or any other app, use that, but condense it and just use one app. And then you also want to repurpose your content. And I know you probably heard it before, and most people say, repurpose your content, but they have no idea how to do it. So here's a system that actually works. You want to start with one long form piece of content. In my case, that is a long form YouTube content. And my long form YouTube content is really the center of all my content pieces. And I use Wizard.ai. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I really like Wizard.ai. It's a tool that breaks down long form content into short form clips. It can detect the most engaging moments. It can auto cut your clips. It adds subtitles, B-roll, headlines, emojis, and also it can format the video for different platforms. So TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts. And what I really like about it, you can also directly schedule it from the platform. The AI system helps you to create copies as well. So when I post my content to YouTube, to TikTok, to LinkedIn, the AI tool, so Wizard.ai, writes different headlines for each video. Essentially, you're posting the same video, but it has a different headline that resonates with each platform. Consistency isn't hard when you stop doing everything manually. The reason a content planning becomes overwhelming because you're doing it from scratch constantly. You're guessing instead of analyzing your content. You're not documenting anything. You're overthinking everything. You haven't built a system that works for you, and you're not leaning into AI. AI removes the slow parts. It takes over the data analysis. So you can focus on really creating high impact content. So when you treat AI like a coworker, not just like a threat, then it will change everything for you. I hope this video gave you a quick idea of how you can use ChatGPT or any AI system to really analyze your content, to break down, to identify patterns of what worked, so you can lean more into what's working and stop doing less of what's not working. And if you like this video, please give it an extra like, subscribe to my channel. It will mean the world to me. I see every single subscriber that subscribes to my channel, so I see you. And this also led us yet again to another video. I'm so glad you tuned in today, and I cannot wait to see you next week. Until then, goodbye. How we say in Germany, auf Wiedersehen.